Starting a new business from idea to first funding. It all starts with getting an idea. Creativity comes from anywhere. What do you do that feels like it takes too long? What feels inconvenient? What seems to be overly complicated? All of those areas can spark business and franchise ideas. How do you feel about your business? It's not just about making money. It's your passion. It's your calling. It's what you feel personally that you are driven to do. Let's look at starting up. You'll probably work 10, 15-hour days. It's exciting. It's also tiring, and it can sometimes feel overwhelming. You will need to find your niche and your passion. What can you do that's unique? What can you focus on? What drives you? Starting a business should be about what you want to do. Where will you stand out? How about trying to put a new spin on an established industry? This is like Airbnb or Uber. Make something stronger, faster, or easier, or just more convenient. Match opportunity to your skills, experience, and passion. Let's look at setting up a business. Choose a business name. Search GoDaddy to make sure it's not already taken. Keep it easy to pronounce and spell. Don't let your businesses sound too much like another business's. You want to be memorable. Numbers in the name means you will forever be explaining if its numerals are written out. Next, let's cover starting a business plan. Get your ideas in writing. Who's your typical customer? How will you market to them? Get feedback from mentors. Business mentors are people you know. They might be former bosses or family members who own companies. They can even be people who failed. Ask them, are you being realistic? Now it's time to set up a business address. Working from home? Then you'll need a virtual office. Go to alliancevirtualoffices.com. D&B recommends virtual offices. Never use a P.O. box or a UPS box. Will you need a brick-and-mortar address? Entrepreneur Magazine says location is your #1 concern. Consider your target market and consider where your competitors are. Take advantage of their research. Be sure the area is zoned for your type of business. You will need to select a business entity. File this with the Secretary of State. Consider DBA status for sole proprietors. If not, then your business name is identical to your actual name. Business entities define tax and liability obligations. Now you'll need to get a business phone, fax, and 411 listing. Toll-free phone and fax numbers are best. Lenders and customers see these as more legit. Go to 411.com to get listed. All of this builds business legitimacy. It will also build your confidence in your business. Also, get a web domain and a pro website. Buy hosting from a company like GoDaddy. Don't use Weebly or Wix. You want it to be your domain, not domain.wix.com. Use Upwork to get set up and get a professional logo from Fiverr. You'll need to work with the Internal Revenue Service. Get your free EIN at irs.gov. All businesses need to pay taxes. Also check with your state's Department of Revenue or Taxation. Get set up now. Avoid nasty surprises later. In addition, get all needed business licenses. Check with your local Secretary of State. Check the city or town too, as licensing requirements differ. These differences depend on state, town, and industry. Get a business bank account in the business's name. Try the bank where you keep your personal accounts. This bank already knows you, and they know your reputation for paying your debts. This opens up financing options. It affects legal accounting. Get a business merchant account. Now your business can accept credit and debit cards. Studies show that customers will spend more if they can pay by card. This also increases your finance options. Budgets and finances are vital. Revisit your budget often. It can be tempting to just max your personal credit cards, but don't do this, as you'll ruin your personal credit. There are much better ways. What are some early funding opportunities? First, talk to people you know. These are family, friends, or coworkers. They may want to be angel investors. The money they provide can be small, or you can consider crowdfunding. Here are some more funding ideas. Leverage the assets you already have. Those might be retirement funds you have saved, or your ability to line up investors, or your creativity, whether artistic or inventive. Funding options abound. There are many ways to get business funding. Some of these depend on your industry. They may also depend on your time in business or your ability to secure collateral. Funding option number 1, 401k financing. You can use an existing 401k or IRA as collateral for business financing. These are IRS-proven strategies with no tax penalties, and you can still earn interest on your 401k and pay low rates, often less than 5%. Close and fund in less than 3 weeks. You can get up to 100% of what they can roll over within your 401k. There are no consumer credit score requirements. Even a startup company can be approved. You will not need a tax return or a bank statement review. The business can get an approval for a loan equal to 100% of the value of the 401k. The idea is you are investing the 401k in your own business. This is instead of buying stocks in other businesses. There are no tax ramifications. Funding option number 2, Securities Financing. You can also get financing regardless of personal credit if you have some kind of stocks or bonds. You can also get approved if you have someone who wants to use their stocks or bonds as collateral for financing. Personal credit quality doesn't matter. There are no consumer credit requirements for approval. Funding option number 3, Angel Investing. Angels are essentially informal investors. They generally invest in the start of a company. This is often in a swap for equity, so you will give up partial ownership. Angels can even invest via a crowdfunding platform. Yes, your mother can be an angel investor. Known angels are called affiliated. Angels you didn't know before are called unaffiliated. Have confidence in your idea. Ask for funding. Companies can connect to affiliated angel investors by just asking. Companies connect to unaffiliated angel investors in about the same way they can connect to others who can help them who they don't know or don't know well, via advertising, business brokers, cold calling, or intermediaries and networking. Ask the person you know who seems to know everybody. This can even be the person who cut your hair. Funding option number 4, Venture Capital. Venture capitalists will give money to help build new startup companies, but only if the VCs believe a company has both high growth and high risk potential. These are often fast growth companies with an exit strategy already in place. Venture capitalists will often want to recover their investment within 3 to 5 years. They also often want to own a large piece of a company, if not a controlling stake. Hence, you are giving up more control than with angel investors. Venture capitalists will look for a strong management team, a large potential market, and a unique product or service with a strong competitive advantage. VCs also look for opportunities in industries they have familiarity with, and the chance to own a large percent of a company. This is because they want to be able to influence its direction. Giving up more control is the price you pay for more funding than you would get with angels. Funding option number 5, Grants. Grants are great because they are like scholarships. You don't have to pay them back. HUD, Housing and Urban Development, is one agency which hands out grants. If a business is not related to housing or city development, then it won't be approved. But if it is, then HUD grants are another means of getting funding. Search for HUD grants online at https://portal.hud.gov. NOFAs, Notices of Funding Availability, include the contact where to send an application. If you are applying for more than one HUD grant, it has to be a separate application under the correct NOFA. HUD won't take a combination of NOFAs. For more rural industries, try the USDA. Find them at www.usda.gov. The USDA doesn't just give grants to ranchers and farmers. They also give grants to housing preservationists and providers, waste management companies, and energy companies. A state or local government might provide grants. Offer a partnership to the state, city, or town. Ask for local government support for a project and try to address a specific local government need. A grant needs to have a grant proposal. These operate quite a bit like business plans. A local address is often a bonus when applying for a grant. Write a clear and short cover letter. Don't ramble and get to the point quickly. Check delivery requirements, mail or in person, and follow them to the letter. Funding option number 6, Unsecured Business Credit Lines. Unsecured business financing is another possibility. Use your assets as collateral. These can be personal assets like a 401k or business assets like equipment owned outright. You can get 0% business credit cards with stated income. No financials will be required. You can get up to $150,000. You will need a credit score of 700 or better. This is not a good option if you have poor personal credit. Funding option number 7. Unsecured bank lines of credit. Some alternative lenders are now offering LOCs for $50,000 to $150,000. This is a minimal documentation program. They will often only want tax returns instead of all income documentation. If over $100,000, you will need to supply a P&L and balance sheet. These take much less time to close than conventional bank lines of credit. They are 30 to 45 days to close and fund. Rates are low for these. They often run from 7 to 10%. The approval amount is often 10% of annual sales per their tax returns. You will need to have an experience score of 700 or higher to qualify. Funding option number 8. Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding comes via a platform like Kickstarter or Indiegogo. It gathers money from a lot of people instead of one big investor. If the crowd likes an idea, they may decide to donate to a project. A good pitch will be vital for success. If you are a persuasive speaker or writer, then crowdfunding may be right up your alley. Generally, crowdfunding doesn't need to be paid back, but read the fine print. Many crowdfunding platforms make you give all of the funding back if you do not make their goal by their campaign's end. Indiegogo has a flexible funding option which costs more, and platforms take a % of donations. Get donors excited about donating. Evoke emotions in them. The most effective feelings are novelty. A product or service is new, or the spin on an existing one is new. Urgency. They must donate now. Scarcity. They can't get it anywhere else, or it's running out. And cool factor. The product or service is cool, and it has cachet. It can be a rush, but it can also be disappointing. Organized campaigns do better. They are also more likely to fulfill their promises. Funding option number 9. Business credit. This is credit in the business's name. It's not in your own. It depends on the company's ability to pay, so you can get it even if your own credit is less than stellar. Building business credit works. If you don't have a good enough FICO score to qualify for other options, then it is time to start building business credit. But you should be building business credit even if your FICO score is superb, because business credit can help a business at any stage. Building business legitimacy pays off here. Vendor credit is where it all begins. This is a proven means of getting started in building credit. It's called vendor or trade credit. It is often very easy to get. There often is no consumer credit pool. A business should get its first 5 to 8 credit accounts via vendor credit. If there are 5 to 8 trade lines reporting, then a business can move on to revolving store credit. This will be at places like Walmart. Sometimes, in order to establish good store credit, a business will have to buy some things it does not need. Consider donating those items to charity. Have the confidence to give things away. If there are 10 revolving store credit lines reporting, then you can advance to the next step in building business credit. Fleet credit comes from places such as Chevron. It is a credit card which helps a business maintain a set of vehicles. These are usually fuel cards. They can be used to buy fuel, repairs, and maintenance. Keep going. Work toward 10 to 14 or more trade accounts. When there are 14 fleet credit lines reporting, then a business can move on to cash credit. This comes from companies such as MasterCard. It's accepted in a lot more places. Good business credit will help a company get loans in the future. Let's recap. Look for areas which need improvement. Match opportunities to your skills, talents, and desires. Set up your business with legitimacy in mind. Find mentors. Tell your contacts about your idea as they might want to invest. Look for funding by leveraging personal assets as collateral, or seek angel investors or venture capitalists. Consider crowdfunding or grants if appropriate. Unsecured business financing and business credit can help any business owner. And most importantly, love what you do. Contact us today to learn more about starting a new business from idea to first funding.